Hello, everybody. We are here on our next live, all about back to school. So we are just going to wait a little bit because we have a special guest. We have Angela Dodge, a registered dietitian, joining us today, and we're going to go over all the tips and tricks for getting back into school. You know, sleep and eating and supplements, routines, all of it. So we're going to get started in a minute. There you are.
It's working.
As much as I don't want to admit what is occurring in the next few weeks,
I know.
it is occurring. And, you know, a lot of people are very excited about this because, of course, it's very hard to juggle the summer with kids and work and all the things and all the activities. But at the same time, getting back into that routine can also be a lot of work.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm thinking, okay, well, now now you can't get away with not making a lunch at the night before. And now you can't get away with this. And you really got to make sure the groceries have been picked up on time. So we're here to talk about what's going to happen.
And it's so funny. We were away last week, and my kids, even my older kids, my 19 and my 16, they said, I can't wait. They don't actually want to go back to school, but they want the routine of being in school. Yes. Like to be, you're getting up at the right time again, not sleeping till noon. So they're really wanting it too. It's not just parents, but it's kids, I think, too.
Well, that and the socialization. Like my kids are like, well, I get to see all my friends every single day instead of having to organize whose parents at work, who's at home, who can I see. Yeah. So I do think like the routine they love. And, of course, maybe not the actual school part, but everything else
part gets in the way.
It does.
The socialization. Yeah. The friends are the great part.
Yes. So for all those people, including myself, that put the routines aside and the organization and the sleep schedules and the everything for the last 2 months.
Yes.
Let's talk about how we get back into it.
Yeah, because we have to do it too.
That's true. No more scrolling at night, right? Get that cell phone away from your face.
Yes, we were just talking about that.
Yes. I'm like, there's some good stuff. There's some good stuff on there at nighttime, but yes, books are very good, for everybody.
For everyone.
So let's start with sleep.
Okay.
How about that?
Yeah. So I think that can set you up for a good day or not so great day the next day for school. Yeah.
So of course, bedtime is a big one, but of course also the sun is out. So we were talking earlier, like what are some tips and tricks we can give some parents on how to get back into the going to bed on time?
Yeah. You said a really good one is because you said it's still light, like where we are in the country, it's still going to be light for a while for those first little bit of school. So they're not getting that same trigger that's time to go to bed.
Yeah.
So putting on some sunglasses, shutting down the curtains in your room, I never even thought of doing that before. I just put them in bed. Here you go. See you later. Screens are a big one because that blue light coming off those screens really disrupts our melatonin and being able to get to sleep. Yeah.
True. So let's turn off the iPads and TV earlier in the next few weeks. Let's get it darker earlier in the house. I know with my kids, especially because they're still so young, reading books before bed, they love that. Yeah. I find when I read to them at night, I end up falling asleep.
Then you do your nap before bed and then you wake up and into your room.
So it's even good for adults if they want to read some of those books. Yeah. And just having a calm, nice environment at night, get us into sleep. Because as we know, if we don't sleep well, even as adults, the next day is just
terrible.
A train wreck.
Yeah, it's a train wreck. We know how we feel. And even for nighttime, being dietitian, always talking about food, not a really heavy, big snack right before bed.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
They start to feel sort of sluggish, you're uncomfortable, even though they might be really hungry, that's fine. But picking something maybe that's smaller with high protein and a little bit of fat in there to be able to last them through the night. It's when they start to want this is when we can have our treats now. Because, there's some treats happening in the summertime.
Yes, there is.
And then before bed, they just don't feel good.
Because we tend to eat earlier with kids in the day. And then, of course, everyone's hungry because it's been 2 hours.
It's been a while.
And they're hungry again. And then, but in the summer, and with sports and things, you eat dinner early-ish. And then you go and you do all this stuff and you're starving afterwards because you've just played a game of baseball, hockey, out in the playground. And we're hungry again. But then you're right. If you eat too heavy of a meal, even for adults, and then you try to go lay down right away
you just
and go to sleep, you don't feel great. So choosing what we eat as the bedtime snack is even a good one.
Not really heavy, like fatty foods that sort of sit in their stomach. It takes longer for those things to digest, so it just sort of sits there, makes you feel uncomfortable. So maybe avoiding some of those higher fat foods.
Yes. And then, so we do know that, like with my daughter, we found out she was iron deficient because of her sleep issues. So even like once we are looking at all these routines and how we're changing things, if our kids are having additional issues or continually having problems in those areas, that's when we should be starting to look at, okay, well, is this a nutrient deficiency? What can I add and supplement their diet to help them sleep better, feel better, and set them up for a good day?
Yeah. And those things, it's the falling asleep with iron and then staying asleep, but also those little restless legs. And they might not understand what that means, especially like younger ones, but it's like that, there's no control. I remember my mom had it. She had really bad iron deficiency. And at that time I didn't, we were young, and her legs would just twitch for no reason. I'm like, God, can't you get that under control? But those types of things to look at that you might think, okay, well, it's worth checking and trying some iron to see if maybe that will help with sleep.
Especially with like, I know with my daughter, she always said, I just can't get relaxed. Like, I can't relax. My body is like not calm. And of course it was iron deficiency. And once we got her iron levels up, it took, a little bit longer for the sleep to obviously have to get back in the routine, but it was dramatic, the sleep change once she had adequate iron levels. And then of course the next morning, if you're not sleeping,
who's getting up? Who's feeling well? Who's
feeling
well?
Ready for the day.
No, they're dragging.
Yes.
But it's something as simple as that could try. That might be, and it's learning that habit again, because they've gotten out of the habit. This is how I fall asleep. It's quiet in here.
Yes. It's,
maybe you have a little warm bath before, like all those little things.
It reminds me of babies too, because it's like, okay, when you have a little baby, you black out lights and you got a sound machine and you don't let people do anything. And then as the kids get older, they kind of get into their own routine, but it's almost like you got to get back to the okay, we need a calm, dark environment. We need to get them ready. But so it definitely,
do you use fans
at all ages?
Do they use fans?
Only because it's hot.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Ours blow them right onto themselves. I'm like, how do you sleep like that?
You're like, can you breathe?
Yeah.
So once we wake up in the morning, now that we have a few weeks to go before school, of course, we don't want an abrupt change the first day of school. We don't want you to be waking up at 8 a.m. every day, and then now you're up at 6. Like, that's very hard for anybody to just change like that. So I guess, we should be talking about, let's start getting up a little more consistently earlier in the morning, starting now. And then, for us, it is early. They got to eat, they got to get ready, they got to go, and then they're off to school. So in that morning, like, what foods should we be feeding our kids so that they have a good start to the day?
That's always a tricky one.
Yes.
Because breakfast, kids, it depends on the kids. Even within your own home, maybe you see some kids right up. My youngest eats right away. The other two could care less. They don't want to eat. They're just not hungry. But we do know that, that before they go to school, if they're not having something that's high in protein, high in fat, some fiber to keep their blood sugar levels, through the morning at school, they're going to be a disaster.
Yeah.
They're going to feel hangry. They're not going to be able to concentrate. They're just going to fly off the handle. You'll start getting those messages back home already. But that's the biggest thing. So working with your kids to find out what they can take in. It doesn't need to be huge. It doesn't need to be a large amount, because sometimes, in the morning you can't do that. But a smoothie is great if they'll like that. That you can put your supplements in there that we'll talk about later.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, you can put them in there. Overnight oats, kids tend to like to make it at nighttime, prepping for the next day. I found this one. So we make our overnight oats and we're adding like a little bit of lemon curd to it. Ooh. So it's like a lemon, and you put blueberries on in the morning. It tastes delicious. So they love that. An egg, like eggs with protein, or eggs or protein with a little piece of toast, you could even make like breakfast cookies, those types of things, just nutrient dense, smaller amounts that will travel through the day for them.
Yeah.
But
No,
it is really hard.
sense. It is, because I have the same thing. I have the 3 kids as well, and one is always hungry
Yeah.
in the morning. And the other two were like, yeah, like I know I need to eat because I have to leave the house and I'm not going to have a snack until recess. And, at our school, recess is supposed to be a pocket snack so they can take it out with them, right? Which means it's a packaged thing in some essence. And it is hard to give them something in a reusable container because it's difficult. They basically get the snack and they go outside. So those snacks aren't normally high in protein, and they normally have a higher sugar content, even if it's just not added sugar, it just does. And so what we feed them at breakfast is really trying to get them through to lunch, which is a long time.
It can be a long time. And that's, like I was talking before, it's like bookending meals. When I'm seeing patients, like you're really heavy morning, not heavy, but you're trying to get as much nutrition in the morning and much at night or right when they come home from school, because in that middle part, we don't know what happens there.
No.
They're maybe not hungry. Like you said, they don't have time. I know at my son's school, it's like 20 minutes. They have 20 minutes to eat, get everything out, socialize, and then they're out the door. So it's not a lot of time. Trying to keep them sustained for that amount of time is sometimes hard.
It's also just like, when you said they don't have time, we found that when the kids started in elementary school, actually before COVID, they all had lunch in the same area. Like it was like the gym turned into like the lunchroom. And then after COVID, they ended up staying in the classrooms because it just ended up being easier. But the kids kept telling me, we don't have time to eat lunch because they're all chatting.
Yeah, they love talking.
They're loving lunch. They're like, now we've got all of our friends here. Every class is in here. We're outside for this amount of time. We only have this much to eat, but really we're just talking.
Yeah.
And I'm like, of course you are. So the other thing you and I talked about was the after school snack and how important it is for our blood sugar levels, because of course we just ate at lunchtime. It's been a few hours. We've had a long day, and especially when we go back to school, because you've been eating snacks all summer long. Like, I don't even know if kids eat meals in the summer, but
there's no meals.
17 snacks.
And so their body's used to that. They're like, I need it.
Yes.
Every 20 minutes.
So, if you're doing school pickup, come with a snack. Make sure dinner is not too far. If you're going to have a small snack, make sure that dinner time is a little bit earlier. Of course, kids do eat earlier, so it's kind of easier. And of course, sports kind of gets in the way. So eating close to that time is really important if they're at after school care. So our girls do go to that.
Okay.
I know that they give the snack within like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Like they are prepped.
They know we need to give these kids something.
They're like, and here's your snack, come in the door. So it's really important that we're eating enough food to keep our moods stabilized, because as adults
you don't think of that. You don't think of mood. Sometimes they don't. As parents, we're like, why are you acting like this? You're like, oh, you're hungry. You're hungry. So just making that conscious effort to bring those snacks in the car. I remember I just had like a little container in my console of my car filled with bars or like the fruit, like what are they called? It's just fruit.
They're just fruit.
Just fruit. Yeah. I know it's like one ingredient. I don't know what it is. Anyways, those types of things. Some fruit, like a thing of bananas. You were saying before, putting that in.
Yeah, even there's a mom at our school that brings an entire bunch of bananas at the end of the day. And I think she's just like, any kid that comes near her that looks hungry, she's like, banana. And she's amazing.
Come near me. Put a banana in front of them.
Yes. Yeah.
But you can there's lots of people who will make some snacks. Like you'll have muffins and energy bars or energy balls, those types of things you can throw in as well and have for them.
We got to Justin, yes, it is nut-free snacks and all nuts. They don't let you have, sometimes they don't even let you have tree nuts. Sometimes they don't let you have
there's no cashews, no tree nut, all of those,
depending on your
sun butter. Like we can't even send sun butter,
really,
because it looks too much like.
I used to put notes on them saying this is a seed butter. Like, I know it smells like peanut butter, but it's a seed butter, because I had it so many times come back and I was like, no, it really isn't.
I don't know if they think somebody's trying to slip one through
like,
you.
this mom is just tricking us. And I'm like, no, it's real. But yeah, no, we did a lot of fruit bars.
Yeah.
A lot of fruit bars, which of course is very high, of course, in fruit sugars, but there's no protein in it. So it's not like holding them over to the next stop. You know,
there's some cheese, like stuff you could put in the car or whatever for after. And if you don't have a nut allergy, those are nuts and seeds as well. Yeah. Or if you had like meat, some people will use like a little bit of a meat stick or something, or cheese stick or something that they can throw in the car to bring with them.
Yeah, it's, and then of course, if you're on a vegetarian or vegan diet and no nuts, that is a really hard, you're really cutting down the options for the kids, especially when kids like certain things. Although I did just buy, I think it's Three Farm Kids. I should probably look at the name of the brand. Do I have it in my office? And it's lentils. It's a bag, like an individual bag, and they're flavored lentils. Oh. And I got the salt ones, and the kids loved them.
Like they're dried, like you just eat them as a snack. Yeah. Oh, nice.
If anyone in the office is listening to me talk about this, and we have one in the office, bring it over. They're really cool. You can buy individual packets of them. The kids like them, and there's a lot actually in the bag.
Yeah.
But they just taste so good. So lentils, that's a great option. I know tofu is a great option too. Yeah. But it, by the end of the day, how is it doing in the container? It's, it's hard. Like, thankfully, my kids like fruits and vegetables. Yeah. So there's a lot of veggies and dip. You got to have the good dips because, it gets boring.
It's just a vehicle for the dip, the veggies, the fruit, whatever. I'm going to have Three Farmers Foods. Is that
there
what
we go? Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you, Justin. Yeah.
Nice.
They work well. Yeah, and like Costco has a lot of options. And so do our local grocery stores. But, when you're buying for a number of kids and you have to like keep the snacks going, sometimes you got to buy in bulk.
Huge bulk.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the day, right? Huge bulk. Gotta have huge bulk. Costco trips will be, I bet you right before school, everyone's like, oh, it's going to be huge bills at Costco.
Yeah, like our kids love fig bars, like the whole wheat on the outside and then the fig in the middle. So high in fiber.
Yeah.
They are yummy. I also like them. They're everywhere. They're either in our house, in the car, in a backpack. I have them everywhere. I'm like, who wants to eat one?
We do use a lot of, I don't know if I can say brands here. I guess I can.
Okay, definitely.
Like Revive smoothies or those frozen smoothies that will come. And so I'll just add the milk to it, and then out the door, they'll take those. So those have been kind of good. Instead of, my son makes smoothies every day, but it can take a bit. Like, there's a process. So those are quicker ones that you could just take and fly out the door for your kids if you wanted.
And like Blender Bites has them as well.
Blender Bites. Yeah.
I know that our protein does very well in their green Blender Bites pucks.
Oh, okay.
So like the all-in-one plant-based fruit, that tastes really good mixed together. Yeah. And you're getting your greens. And we got to make sure we get protein. We got to get the fats.
It can be overwhelming. Like, our brains my or yours may think different than other people. Like, when I'm looking at a meal, I'm like, is it got protein? It's got fiber? It's got iron. But most people don't think like that. So it takes a lot of time of planning to be able to make. So it's always, I always, like, it's hard, people, but we can get it done. We can do it. And a lot of times we'll eat the same things. So once we've decided this is something that our kids like and our family likes, then it's sort of in the rotation. So
it's true. And there's nothing wrong with eating the same meals.
No,
nothing wrong. And like, I grew up and I had friends who every Wednesday they had the same meal.
Yeah.
And I used to go on every Wednesday because I liked that meal.
That was a good meal
that parent made, right? So, there's nothing wrong with knowing on Sunday, okay, hey, we're going to there's a meal plan. We all know what's going to happen. Fridays we order in, mix it up a bit. But you just got to look at the whole week, make sure we're getting the nutrients we need in a wide, the 7-day plan. Yeah. And then when the kids are at school, making sure they have the right foods to hold them through the day.
Yeah.
And if your kid doesn't like something, that is where the supplements come in. Like, if they're not eating a certain ingredient in a certain nutrient, my kids, it's for sure omegas.
Yeah.
It's pulling teeth to get them to eat.
I'm saying I've in practice, I've been for how many years? I've never, and we do test, some kids will get their omegas test. Never. It's never normal. Yeah. It's never within a range. And it's because we just don't eat enough.
No,
like,
and it's very
mine's not great either. It's
like,
so
if
expensive.
you're eating fish omegas, it's expensive. Like, if you're eating wild fish, very expensive. But also if you're eating algae omegas,
Yeah.
it's even more expensive.
Really expensive. So it's not always easy.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not cost effective, and it's very hard. So like that's why the supplements are there, because we do know how important it is. You know, we need pregnant women are taking high DHA through pregnancy to ensure the babies have enough. They're also taking iron to make sure they have enough. But then our kids start eating solid foods, and it's very hard to just keep. I have one kid that likes salmon, and I have to put stuff on that salmon for them to be encouraged. And the other two were like, no,
not
fine.
so much.
I'll just eat the rest of the meal. And I'm like, come on.
That's a good thing. I'm just thinking back, salmon, like bowls, those are easy to take if you want to have those. You can put those in lunches. You can have it after school. Anyways.
Yeah.
Rice bowls, salmon bowls. Yeah.
Yeah. And actually the tofu, I have a friend who does amazing crispy tofu. And so that does last a little bit longer in the lunchbox, which is great and has lots of protein. So
you know what I just made today? My mother was visiting, but she makes these little egg with grated cheese in a little waffle maker. And so it's like a
little egg bites.
There's like egg bite? No, it looks like a waffle. So you can make it as like a sandwich. You can put stuff in between. And so it's high in protein. It's got some fat in there. So it's another option for lunches that you could put in as well.
We have made the little, like in the mini muffin tins, like a little egg bite looking thing. You add some cheese, you add some like broccoli. You can add whatever you want in there. But if you make them in the little mini muffin tins, like then they're like little tiny ones that like the kids like them because they're small.
Yeah. Everything's better when it's a little tiny.
It's so true. Yeah. So now we've made it to dinner.
Yes.
And of course now at this moment in time, you know, many families are on the go. So, you know, we've got to get back into a routine of some sort of eating at a normal time. And then we got to, you know, think about eating as a family.
Yep.
And talking. And of course, you know, talking is very important.
Talking is important.
And then, you know, fall sports are starting. So do you have any tips or tricks on like, how do we get back in this routine?
Yeah, we've already started. As I was telling you, we ate at 3:47 yesterday. So generally I think it's really important. My family probably hates it. And they do tell me that other families do not do this, but encouraging everyone comes out of their space.
Yes.
You come out of your space. It doesn't matter what time it's going to be at. We're going to eat together, even if it's 10 minutes, whatever. Granted, those are not nights when people, like you said, are gone. But it's really important to have those quality time chatting. We know kids that eat as a family, that we have that family time. Doesn't mean it can be just you and a kid. It doesn't mean the whole family, but whatever your family consists of, that they do better in school. They are like less prone to other different activities that they shouldn't be doing. All of these different things can come just from eating a meal together. But making things like you said, rice bowls are huge. So I'll make a lot of things that are assembled so that people, if they can't be there at the time, that they can put together sort of when they're ready to go or when they want to eat. So we'll do a lot of rice. I'll make a lot of pastas where they can put toppings on it, or we'll make, you know, sheet pan lasagnas where they can just take a piece when they need to. But it is a really difficult thing. It takes a lot of planning. That's one thing parents hate. It's the planning. It's the thinking of dinner. I think moms are different though, because as soon as I wake up, I'm like, what do I got to decide? What am I going to take out? What am I going to take out? And my husband's like, what are we having?
You just reminded me I forgot to place my Save on Foods pickup order.
So you're eating out tonight is what you're doing.
I was like, I'm going to get all the stuff, pick it up on the way home. It's going to be great. I even said to my husband, I was like, oh, don't worry. You don't need to go to Costco. I'm going to get the pickup order.
Oh no.
Hopefully he's listening. You should go to Costco.
Maybe we need to set reminders on our phones. That could be one thing that we do.
But no,
it is hard.
Like, the planning is a lot. And I like what you said, just like even 10 minutes at the table.
Yeah.
You know, when we talk about picky eaters and kids that don't want to eat certain things we're making, if you're all sitting together at the same table and other people are eating those foods, you get constantly reinforced, okay, it's not like, I might like this. Other people are eating it. Versus you're sitting alone, you're given a meal and you're told you have to eat this, but no one else is around you eating it.
Yeah. That's not happening.
Really, it's not going to happen. So you know, you got to introduce like 12 times a new food, probably more with some kids. Eventually they'll try it. They might look at your meal, you know, at least they're exposed to it.
Yeah, they
And
see
even
a
just,
sibling using it or
yes,
trying it.
yeah,
Yeah,
because
that's
it's
why
a
a lot
slow
of it
process.
is a slow part. A lot of my kids, the stuff they didn't like when they were kids, now it's their favorite food.
Yes,
And you get discouraged because
yes,
you're at putting it on the table again, you're making it again. And so I always recommend, yes, just I know it's not going to go to waste.
no,
Somebody's
yeah,
going to eat it. You or somebody's going to eat it. They might not,
yep,
but it just taking over and over that time to
yes,
prepare and present
yeah.
it.
And I like what you said about making, like they can
Yeah.
assemble it,
Yeah.
because with my kids, yeah, like when they were younger, I'd make a meal and halfway through the meal, I would make sure I separated, let's say the pasta or
Mm-hmm.
the something I was going to put sauce on that I knew that sauce was not a favorite. And then, you'd have the veggies and like separated so that when they got to the meal, they're eating the same food,
Yeah.
but it's not
Mm-hmm.
to the level that an adult would enjoy,
Yeah.
right?
It's just deconstructed a little bit.
Yes,
It's on the
yes,
way they like it. Yeah.
exactly.
So we've gone now mine are older, so but as kids we would do that or family style
Yes.
where we would put it on the table and they could take whatever portion they want. Now when my I, he doesn't have Instagram, so he doesn't listen to this. But he would like serve the kids.
Yeah.
They're like 5, and he's like a man-sized portion where you're like, this is not what they're going to eat. And then it's like, well, you didn't eat all your dinner. Well, because you gave me 5 portions. So having them being able to put their own is really, you just put it all on the table. They can put what they want on there. They feel more autonomous. Like I'm making the decision.
It's true.
To be able to choose
The amount and what it is and
Mm-hmm.
how, yes. And then they can go back for more because they know it's all there. They can see it. See, now I'm the youngest of 4. So
are we like this? I got to get it.
Because I had older brothers. So it was very much, if you looked, like the meal would come out and if you didn't take enough on the first go round, there may not be, and it depends who ate faster, right? So sometimes my plate would look very big. And then my brothers would be like, are you going to finish that? Are you going to finish that? I'm like, get away
from my plate. Yes, I'm going to. And you're like, I'm not going to throw up. You're like, I'm going to eat it all.
And of course, there was always enough. But when you have, like you got teenage brothers, you never know.
You don't know.
Yeah. So there's always
so portions, those types of things.
Yes. Yeah.
And they eat kind of, the portion size is always a big one because people are like, well, they only ate this amount, but that's what their body told them at the time.
Yes.
That's all they needed at the time. Yeah. So pushing is not going to work.
No, it is not. No, forcing a kid to eat something, one, it's not fun to watch or be part of.
No.
And the kid is then just traumatized. They're like, I didn't want that. No. You didn't, no one's forcing you to eat as an adult.
No.
And if they are, you should probably
get out of that.
Yeah, get out of that. But we shouldn't be doing with kids. They need to know that they can choose. We offer the foods. We give them the choices,
choose it.
And then they can choose it. And that's the best way around, them being picky and selective. And, there's always something on the plate that they like.
Right.
That's our big thing. Okay, I know they like this. I have one kid, she loves cherry tomatoes.
So as long as you put those out.
She starts with the cherry tomatoes and then she ventures off to the foods that are new. Yeah. But, if there was no cherry tomatoes, she'd probably sit there for a very long time thinking, what am I going to eat? Because I don't really know if I like this food. So it helps, and the more hungry you are, sometimes you don't want to eat at all because you're now grumpy and you're like, I didn't want that.
Yeah. Yeah. And you've eaten.
Same things that happen with adults.
To say, they're just like mini versions of us. And they don't know how to tell you those things a lot of the time. So they've eaten a little bit, but anyways, So food at night. Yeah.
We've hit every single meal. And I do think it is important to start thinking about when we eat, going back to school. Because, we can't snack all day long at school.
Yes.
So having the structured meals to get us through the day, after school snacks, bedtime snacks, and then getting into the nice sleep routine. And then, of course, for us at KidStar, we see the same types of nutrient deficiencies quite often. So we see like vitamin D, iron, omega.
Yes.
Those are the big ones for us.
Yep.
So we hear that a lot from parents. I can't get this. They're lacking in this. They're lacking in that. And so, of course, supplements come into the play to make sure that our diet is, we fill in all the gaps.
Fill in gaps. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just making sure you have them out. Like that routine.
Yeah. Like my plant.
Like your plant. So putting it, I usually will put them on, you could put it in the middle of the table. You can put it on the counter. It's good. I like our omegas only because you don't have to put them in the fridge.
Yes.
Like, yes, because a lot of those liquid omegas, you have to put them in the fridge, then we forget about them.
We do.
You're like, oh, I forgot to take them out of
And then
the
you're
fridge.
like, when did I open this?
Yeah,
Because it
when
can only
was
be
this?
open so long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So usually when I'm working with families or recommending, it's generally always a vitamin D. Every person, I'm going to say that, I don't know who's going to come at me. Every kid,
Yes.
every parent, especially where we live in Canada, should be on a vitamin D supplement. I've never seen a normal.
Completely agree.
Yeah. Omega fats, you can look at their diet. If they're having fish, you know, a couple times a week, maybe that's okay for them. There are vegan sources
Yes.
of omegas, but they're just really difficult to convert.
They don't
and
taste as good for
absorb.
kids
Yeah.
as well. It's hard. It's harder to find a good vegan formula for kids.
Yeah.
They do exist. They sadly are more expensive.
Mhm.
Just because of the way it's manufactured, and there's a lower dosage of the DHAs normally in algae, so then you have to take more
and
so
more,
it ends up being costly. But it's still there's alternatives.
an option.
Yeah,
Yes.
and there's options. Yeah,
Yeah.
which is great.
So I would always say, take an omega, take a vitamin D and an iron.
Yes.
And back to school, I'd probably add in the vitamin C also.
And of course, so we also have Moducare, so that's a new modulator. And that one is great. So it's actually funny. We were at a lecture at Choices Market back in, I want to say March. And one of the sales ladies there, she was health and wellness. And she was like, you know, everyone loves this product. And she's like, I don't know much about it because she was new.
Right.
And she said, the comments from the customers are the same every time. I started taking this product and I have been sick, like next to zero. They're like, I have stopped having my regular colds and flus. And it was really funny because I was standing there. I'm like, because it balances your immune system. Your body's able to fight it off. And so the same with our kids. So they take it all school year. And this last school year, the only times they missed school for being sick was actually a gastro, like a stomach bug. That was clearly.
That's not going to help.
Nothing helps that. So, and I was like, no, it's very true. It just, your body's able to defend itself so much better. And it is obviously Moducare's for adults too. But when we think about back to school, we think about kids and we think about teachers.
Yes.
Because those teachers, you know, day one, they got 30 new kids with 30 new germs. And you're just like, let's just make it through. So
do you recommend taking Moducare all year long, or is it more at back to school, winter, like Christmas, any of those?
I would recommend taking it daily all year round.
Okay.
Now, if you have seasonal allergies, you could start a month or so, maybe a month to 2 months ahead of when you normally get them to start prepping to make sure that you're ready for them. And then it can lessen the severity of your allergies. Yeah. And then the same with back to school. You want to start like now. And then by the time you hit all those new germs and everything, your body's ready for it. And then, of course, we add in our vitamin D and our vitamin C to make sure that we are ready.
We're covering bases.
That's right. Yeah.
Because we know it's not even immunity. It's a lot, even just behavior, how kids feel, how they behave at school. We know kids, vitamin D and iron and omega fats, that they're lower, then they're more irritable. They get distracted. Their grades go down. They have difficulty concentrating. So, and those are proven things.
Yes.
Like those are research-based studies. Kids, we know those. Yeah.
Kids with certain behavioral issues, they like the pediatricians actually prescribe high doses of omegas to make sure that they're able to focus. And then they check their iron levels. They make sure that it's high enough, because once you get lower on the ferritin levels for kids, the behavior problems start to show up. And so, you know, it could be a nutrient deficiency. It could be both. The symptoms could be worsened because of the nutrient deficiency. It's just, even with like adults, if you have low iron and you feel horrible every day, and then you're put into a classroom, think about if you're in a meeting and you're trying to focus and you're just like, I feel horrible. I am tired. I'm exhausted. This person keeps asking me questions and I don't want to answer them. You know, it's hard.
And I want to say one more thing about just hydration.
Ooh,
that's one of the biggest, so many kids, so many adults are dehydrated. Yeah. So we're going to take our supplements with our water.
Yes.
Fluids.
And we got to send the big water bottles to school. It's so funny because I don't know if I think our kids' school has like one water fountain. But when we were little, like they were everywhere. Water was like if you wanted a sip of water, you would just go to the water fountain. So we do got to make sure that we have full water bottles that are being sent to school because you got a lot, you're thirsty.
Yeah. Yeah. And they just you get that terrible feeling. They can't concentrate well. They just feel kind of blah. They might get a little bit of a headache.
Yep.
And they don't know why they're feeling like that. And you're like, how much have you drank today?
And it also helps with like digestion. And then, you know, if you're having problems going to the bathroom and you're not drinking any water and you're not eating right, like everything is harder. And then of course you're not going to sleep well because you've had a horrible day.
Yep.
We're back to sleep again.
We're back. We came full circle.
That's right.
It sounds like we've given a lot of information and maybe people are getting overwhelmed.
They're like,
but it's not that hard. Once we get into our routine again, we're eating well, we're taking our supplements, trying to drink well.
And we do need to make sure, especially with kids supplements, that we're reading the label because we do not want extra things in them. We don't want it covered in sugar, and we don't want artificial colors and flavors because these products are meant to keep our kids healthy. We do not want added things that are going to, you know, counteract all the good stuff in the product. So we do have to read the whole label, make sure it's great tasting, but with none of that junk in it. So very important.
Which is what we have.
That's right. KidStar has. That's what we're here for. Actually, so I had a meeting with someone yesterday and she had a conversation with me about the products and all these things. And I said, you know, I made these products as a mom and nowhere did I want to give my kids products that were covered in sugar, had all these ingredients in them that weren't needed, that were, you know, many vitamin C products have sugar in them.
Yeah.
And I just keep thinking the whole point of the vitamin C is to help your immune system. And sugar turns off your immune system. So it's like, and she,
what are we doing here?
And she actually said, she's like, yeah, when you come at it as a parent who wants something for their kids, and this is a lot of entrepreneurs in the industry, is that they were looking at things going, why would I ever put this on or in my child? Like we wouldn't do it. I wouldn't feed it to my kid, not a supplement, not a cream. And then they come to a solution. They're like, we're just going to have to make it because we're not doing that to our kids. We're not doing that. We got to make something better for our kids and all the kids out there.
Yes.
Yeah. And, actually, I almost forgot.
What?
I was like, someone gave me a note and I can't forget to read it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So I have a webinar coming up.
Yes. Webinar.
Yeah. And it is on August 29th and there will be a post going up and an email going out tomorrow-ish. So keep your eyes posted for that. And then also for those attending, there is a prize. So you get entered into a prize. It's a really good one.
I want to win the prize. Can I win?
You do want to win the prize. You have to watch the whole webinar to win the prize.
Okay. I'll win. I'll watch it.
So it's going to be on very much what we've been talking about today, making sure we have our supplements set up for back to school, colds and flus, everything. So
perfect.
It's going to be great. So keep your eyes open for the webinar, which is going to be on August 29th and is focused on our back to school. Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah. So I'm excited for our next talk that we will have to set up and pick a new topic.
New topic.
You know,
if anyone has a topic, we'll talk about it if you want us to talk about something nutrition wise.
Send us a message. And I know there was a question earlier and we will send you a DM and get you the answer to it because I think it was earlier.
Okay.
A little more in depth. Okay. So we will get back to you on that one. So don't worry. But everybody have a great rest of your day.
Good luck back to school.
Yes.
We will chat soon.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining me today, Angela.
No problem.
Great.
Okay.
Bye.